Hi, this is Toni Moore. Just wanted to come in, have a conversation with you to show you how you can bulletproof your brands with intellectual property protection and with contracts. All right. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to be off of the screen for a little bit so that we can go into detail how you can bulletproof your brands. If you have any questions, you can always find me at ToniMooreESQ.com. That's ToniMooreESQ.com. Gonna just share my screen so that you can come in the room with me. With regards to just bulletproofing your brands, I just want you to know my name is Toni Moore. I'm an author, I'm a speaker, I'm a business coach. I'm also a legal strategist. I've been an attorney for over 22 years. I wanted to be an attorney since the 10th grade, and thank God for genes, but I'm getting closer and closer to 50. I got a few more years and I'll be 50 years old. So since the 10th grade, I wanted to be a lawyer. I got a chance to also be a legal strategist because sometimes I cannot help people on the legal side, but I can also help them on the compliance side. I love intellectual property. I'm a creative by nature, a CEO, lawyer by trade. And so I'm a mom, wife. In the midst of COVID-19, I'm also a COVID homeschooler. My kids will soon be back in school and I'll get a chance to be a mom. So like I said before, I wanted to help you bulletproof your brands. And when I talk about your brands, I'm talking about your business. I'm talking about the resources. I'm talking about your abilities, your assets. I'm also talking about the novelties that you could create, with your novelties was lipstick or makeup, or with regards to the novelties, with regards to your planners and with regards to your curriculum, all of those things that you can create from your brilliance. I'm also talking about the designs. Hey, if you're a fashionpreneur, hey, if you're a designer, if you're an artist, the designs that you create with regards to those things, those are all protected because it comes from you. It's your intellectual property. And I'm also talking about the solutions that you make in business because, when you're bulletproofing your brands, you understand that the solutions that you create, the coaching programs you can create, the consulting, you can create the licensing agreement, all of that stuff, GDPR, is something that is going to govern your relationship with them. So you definitely want to be in compliance with every aspect of the law, even if you don't know about it, right? And there's also so much more. Someone had once said, Tone, I'm good. I went to LegalZoom. I started my own business. No shade to me, of course. And then they say, and I'm good. And I'm like, yeah, but there's so many different contracts. As you level up, you need to lawyer up because there's so many different things with regards to agreements, interns, with regards to independent contractors. If you want to start hiring people, the rules and the regulators, what the rules, even in COVID-19, what type of disclosures, disclaimers can you put upon the people who have to come into your facility to make sure that you bulletproof your business and resources and assets and novelties and designs, right? So that's one of the things that we want to make sure. And in so doing, you always got to think of the strategies. One is create a business, right? I want you to box your brilliance into a business, a limited liability company. If you do not have a board, to make sure that you are at least protected so that your personal assets do not get mixed in with your business assets, right? Also operate from a business account. Operate your business from a business account, ideally. And then operating your business from a business account, then you are knowing that any money's in and money's out. If it's going to come to you, it's going to come through a paycheck or it's going to come through a deposit because it's either paying you or on a regular basis, it's a draw from your business account to you. Right? Also, with regards to it, I want you to have a virtual office. I want you to have a virtual office. You may not have one, and a lot of my clients don't have a virtual office, but I want you to be able to separate yourself from your business, because when you don't separate yourself from the business and there's a problem, that limited liability that we pretty much are worshiping, you're not going to get the limited liability. They're going to say your business is an alter ego. And if your business is deemed as an alter ego, if there's ever a problem, not only will they get the assets from your business, but then they'll take the assets from you, your personal wallet. And that's one of the things that you don't want to do. Also, I want you to consistently use your business name. Like I'm always like, hey, this is Toni Moore of Toni Moore ESQ, or hey, this is Toni Moore of Legally Chic 360. When I'm sending out emails, it will say my More Legal firm, or it will also say the More Success Solutions. You know, that's another business that I operate, because I don't ever want anyone to say that I did not keep my personal and my business separate. And I don't want you to be that person to make that mistake of not keeping your personal and your business separate. I also want you to create your own contracts, right? If you can't, create it, or you're like, oh my God, attorneys are so expensive, then you know what? Go to Toni Moore ESQ, follow me on Instagram, and you'll see that there's so many sources and solutions that are out there to help you to bulletproof your brand. Okay. Also, W-2 yourself. What? Yes, W-2 yourself. What? I want you to W-2 yourself. Once you start making between $50,000 and $75,000, I want you to then contact the IRS and say, hey, I want to be taxed as an S Corp or a C Corp. That's a decision that you and your accountant will make based on the numbers, based on whether or not you want to retain an income. You can only do that if you're being taxed as a C Corp. You also want to consider that based on if you're going to give yourself employee benefits. What does that look like? What are you going to write off? A lot of people don't like the double taxation, but here's the thing. When you're a C Corp, yes, you'll get hit with the double taxation, but you'll also be able to retain your money. So you don't always get hit on a personal basis, right? But I do want you to definitely consider W-2ing yourself, because when you want to level up, with regards to getting either a MBE or WBE certification, or start going into supplier diversity, before you get onto that programming, before you can start working with your business, have your business working with your state, your locality, they want to make sure that you're certified. And oftentimes you're going to be judged by your numbers and your statement of work, and the numbers is going to be based on your 1120s, ideally. Now some people, they get confused and they're like, oh no, I don't have 1120s, I have a 1040. Well, you don't always want to be operating with self-employment taxes, and you don't always want to be operating under your social security number. So that's why I would tell you, ultimately, when you start making between $50,000 and $75,000, that you're going to have to see pretty much corporatize your business and W-2 yourself. Okay. Also, respect the IRS. Oh my God, please respect the IRS, because when you don't respect the IRS will come and they will steal, they will kill, they will destroy you, they will put a lien, they will pretty much take all of your money, and then they will make sure that your life is a living hell. And not only that, but they give you interest and penalties. And not only that, they're always sending you notices. I know, and not only am I a tax attorney, but I've been in that situation, so much so that now I have a big, huge bucky file, a red well of information, because they kept sending us information even though they have our money. It's messy, but we're going to come out on top. And I need you to understand that whenever you get a notice, you have to respect them by responding, because you may miss out on your deadlines. Okay, so here's the thing. I want you to also understand that your business brand is also Business 101. Business 101 is all about understanding and appreciate that you have to comply with the rules. Remember this, business is a game. In every game, there's a rule, there's a regulator, there's an umpire. You can get ejected from the game. You can get penalized from the game. So I don't want you to do that. I want you to know that if you're selling products, you're selling coaching programs, you're selling online courses, and you're using advertisement, then you really have to respect the rules and the regulators of paying your taxes, and the rules and the regulators with regards to how you advertise on the web is also governed by the FTC. The FTC is the Federal Trade Commission, and they want to make sure that you're not a liar and deceiver in business. So they're always going to make sure that there's no misrepresentation, no omission. They're going to make sure that people are not misled. They're going to make sure that if you're saying that you can help people become six-figure successes in 6 minutes, that you have the information, that you're not lying by adding other people's names to something, or having testimonials for something you did like 20 years ago and perpetrating that it's something that you do now. Okay, so I want you to just level up in your business, and I want you to understand that if you don't know it, or if legalities is just too much for you, then you're definitely going to have to outsource it. Okay, because here's the thing: if FTC determines that your business is a liar and deceiver, then it will order an affirmative disclosure where you have to tell the whole world that you're a liar or deceiver. It will require you to make corrective advertising. So not only do you have to tell the whole world, but then you then have to turn around and make corrective advertising, and it will seek fines and other civil remedies. And if they think that you're really that harsh of a person, that you were either your malfeasance was that you were trying to deceive others into thinking that you were, or maybe, I don't know, a miracle money worker, or help people walk on water so they can get out of debt in like 2 minutes. And guess what? You might even find yourself on the other side of a grand jury subpoena, and you really don't want that. You know what I mean? You really don't want the attorneys generals to be knocking on your door, or the U.S. Attorney's Office to knock on your door because there was an allegation of misrepresentation based on your sales and marketing agreement. Nope, you're not going to do that. So even when you're entering into contracts, I need you to understand that both parties have to have the ability to enter in. And also, you also have to consider with regards to, is there an acceptance? So there was an offer, and then there's an acceptance. And when there is an acceptance, how is it going to be done? Is it going to be done by a checking of the box? Is it going to be done by an affirmative, like, I hereby agree with you? Is it going to be done with regards to a click that says, I agree, this is what I accepted? And by the way, I understand that it's non-refundable, but those are definitely things that you have to know. Now, this is one of my favorite parts in the business, in protecting your brand, bulletproofing your brand, that you have to understand that there's so many different things that you can do in protecting your intellectual property. Are you okay? So when I'm thinking about the intellectual property, let's go into it with regards to people understand that you can have real estate and you can also have personal property. But that intellectual property, sometimes we forget about that intellect, because it's invisible. But I want you to not make it invisible. Even I tell my clients, don't make it invisible. Package your brilliance into something that you can create one time and monetize for a lifetime. But the property that is the invisible property or intellectual capital, or what I call I call infinite profit. So IP, intellectual property, or infinite profits, because you can create something one time and you can monetize it for a lifetime service. Not just because we talk. If I said, oh, we should do the Melanin Queen project, I'm like, oh yeah, I like that. Somebody can grab it, because we didn't have an NDA and I just put it out into the atmosphere. But if it's an intellectual property, I've already put it in place. I've already grabbed the domain. I've already created the ebook. I have already put out the framework of what that looks like. And then I went to copyright.gov. You feel the difference? Because if it's not protected, if it's not a recordation of it, it's merely an idea. And we're influenced. People always want to defend. There's nothing new under the sun. We already know that. But we also know that inspired profits coming from a person who is creative, that is something that it's theirs. So if you value what's yours, if you create your creativity, then you will protect it. Think about it. I'm a brown woman. You can see me. I'm a brown woman. And, you know, with regards to that intellectual property, that's something that you need to understand and appreciate, right? So I need you to understand and appreciate the opportunities that you have of monetizing your intellectual property. So there's no broke chicks in business, not when you bossed up woman of God who has intellectual property. So with regards to platform protection, because, you know, I need you to understand that your platform is your brand. I don't care how you want to look at it, but it's your business, it's your resources, you know what I mean? It's your agreements in place, your artwork in place, your novelties, you know, whether it's a t-shirt, your lipstick, you know, all of that stuff is in place, right? Even your designs, if you're a fashionpreneur, all of that's your brand. You need to protect your fashion brand. You need to protect your intellectual property. You need to protect your digital summits and everything else like that. So when we're talking about the intellectual property, your intellectual capital, your infinite profits, you know, when you protect it, you can do it through a patent, you can do it through a trademark, you can do it through a copyright, and you can do it through contracts. Okay. So what's patent protection? Okay, we'll talk about that. I'm not a patent attorney. Patent attorneys are usually like very, they usually have a background in science background, because if you ever go to the uspto.gov, write that down, uspto.gov, write that down, uspto.gov, and look on the patent side, and you look at the description of the patents. That's an engineer who writes that, right? If you don't know any engineer, you can always go to upwork.com, and see if they can have someone. But of course, when you're working with someone and you have an idea in your head that is not a product that you have put in your hand with regards to it, then guess what? You're having a non-disclosure agreement, because you never want someone to take your prototype and profit from it. Okay, so with a patent, it has a right. It's granted to an inventor. It helps the inventor prevent other people from using, making, selling, or using their intellectual property for about 20 years, right? There's so many different ways. You can have a provisional patent, or you can have a real patent. The provisional patent means that you're putting something in place right now that you really don't want other people to use, and you haven't branded it out, you haven't bossed it out, you don't have the prototype in place per se, but you have all of that information, right? I help people understand the design patents, because a lot of my fashionpreneurs, they're not understanding how, wait, I don't have a trademark. Wait, what about a copyright? I'm like, look, if you can have something like a design patent where you can design it and it can be distinctive, like them or love them, but Kanye West would make sure that it was a design patent, the Yeezys, and also, yeah, it was Kanye West Yeezys. Look it up. He got the design patent. He made sure that it was distinctive and that it was a novelty and it was useful. And he then turned around and got a copyright off of it as well, because he said, no, it's not just like something that you wear on your feet. This is also a design that is distinctive, right? With regards to a utility, is usually new machines, chemicals, and processes. New machines, chemicals, and processes. New machines. Big drug pharma right now is trying to come out with a utility patent for a COVID cure, right? That's what everybody is looking for. They're probably sleeping, dreaming, all of that stuff, coming out with something, because the first person who has a patent on that, oh my God, they will be so mega rich. Design patents, as I said before, it's a more ornamental of their overall design of the object, right? Ornamental with regards to it. It has to be distinctive, and it has to be more than just something that you wear. It has to be unique in everything. Because don't forget, in our world, the United States of America, when you're dealing with intellectual property, they really value the creatives. Okay, they really do value the creatives. Unfortunately, some creative have been so creative that they did not know how to CEO their business, their life, to protect their assets. But that's not going to be us, because this is the day that we are not going to get played in business, right? So let's segue over into the trademark world, because I'm, as an attorney and also as a business coach, I get a chance to hang out with my coaching community, and in the coaching community with regards to trademarking, because if you're not known for anything, you got to get known for something, and that something is your brand. So when you're bulletproofing your brand, not only are you formalizing your business and you're then you turn around and corporatize your business and your life, but you're also protecting your intellectual property, right? You're protecting your intellectual property with contracts, you're protecting it with patent, you're protecting it with a trademark. Now, so that you're not going to be one of those people who be like, Tone, I need to trademark my products, or Tone, I need to copyright my tagline. Let's talk about, what is a trademark. A trademark is any word, any name, any symbol, any device or combination, any sound, any smell that identifies a good or a service, identifies a product, identifies a coaching program, identify a God Girl retreat, identifies wine, liquor, medicine, identifies dietary supplements, identify bags, right? And that's at uspto.gov as well. uspto.gov. It's a lot of great information that you can find out with regards to uspto.gov. Let me just tell you, if you just starting your business, I want you to go to uspto.gov. Let me just tell you something. If you're thinking anything like me with like thousands of brands in my head, I need you, before you start showcasing, before you start advertising, I want you to go to uspto.gov as well, right? And you go to uspto.gov to make sure that you are not violating someone else's brand. Because it's hard out here in these internet streets. First to get known for something, then to get known for something, only to get a freaking cease and desist, and you got to start all over. Awful. But that's not going to be you, because you're going to go to uspto.gov. And then when you fall in love with the brand, that it would sicken your stomach if someone else used it, monetized it, or got money gasms from it, then that's when you have to secure it. You have to bulletproof that brand with a trademark. And you either go to like an attorney, such as myself, or you try to do it yourself. If someone said, girl, you don't need to go to an attorney, I'm going to tell you right now, LegalZoom will help you register it. They will fill out the paperwork, and then they will leave you all by yourself. Okay. So yes, so an attorney costs more money, just like you as a coach, you as a writer, you as a consultant, you as a corporate trainer. You already know that it's not just about filling out the forms. It's also about the legwork. It's also about having to represent other people. And it's also about having a 10-month retainer with someone, because at the uspto.gov on the trademark side, it takes about 10 months to 12 months. Some of my clients, we still sitting there because somebody else bumped us because there's priority claims, and or they bumped us because now we're fighting because they filed like an objection. I know this is the beginning. I'm just letting you know that it's more to this, okay? Just letting you know, after you created your book, after you started your program, after you started your business, there's a whole nother level to this thing, okay? So I just need you to know that, right? So I need you to also know that it's illegal to use the registered mark until you go to uspto.gov, you go through the trademark process, you get that yes, you get that certification, and then you can say, we's married now. Just seeing if you're awake. uspto.gov. That's the place that issues the patents, and that's also the place that they issues the trademarks. And the beauty of having a trademark is that you can cease and desist on other people from using your brand. And the beauty of a trademark is that if someone is using it and they want to ignore you, you can take them to court because you have a registration, a number that says, hey, this is registered with the uspto.gov. Everybody was put on notice. Now I'm going to have to pretty much cease and desist you and confiscate your assets. And I'm going to pretty much have to let everybody know, including Facebook, social media, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, once you got that certification, you can cease and desist on other people. And if they still keep wanting to do it, then guess what? You can go to court, find out what they got, and literally confiscate on their assets, okay, at uspto.gov. And with regards to the trademarks, I like it because, it always helps people. Remember, the person who registered first, they get the respect. The person who registers first. So if there's anything that looks similar, a USPTO attorney will pretty much eject any subsequent registrants. If someone is using the same kind of name in business and doing the same thing, then they will get rejected as well. So it's not only like you have to defend for yourself, because you don't have to do no struggle when you have some seed, right? Because once you do the thing by corporatizing your business, formalizing your business, creating your creating your contracts, having your trademarks in place, then guess what? You are already protected, right? And once you already have an approved trademark, it lasts for about 5 or 6 years, give or take, depending on what cycle you're on. And then once you establish that you're continually using it, then you only have to go to the uspto.gov every 10 years with proof of use, right? Now, I'm going to let you know right now, this trademark game is fierce, okay? Because everybody knows that the name, it's not just your pretty face, it's not just what you can do, it's not the results, but the name recognition. The name recognition manifests much. So when you have something that you don't want anybody else to use, and it's not generic, and it's a standalone, and it's distinctive, and people will fully appreciate that it's you behind it, then that's when you definitely have to register your brand. Also, with regards to it, if you have a registration, if someone registered using another person's name or company domain in bad faith so that they can earn profit, like they saw your name blow up, so now they're trying to monetize your glow up, guess what? With the uspto.gov, you can cease and desist on them. You can also go to ICANN. find out who owns it, find out what website is hosting it, and you could tell them, hey, you need to stop this, so you can win a lawsuit against cyber squatting. Some people even get so bad, and they'll also not just cyber squat, but they'll also do like I'll just call it like where they change the name, like they'll you could be like, I don't know, Boston Bankable, and I spell bankable with a Kable, and they'll spell it with something off so that they can redirect people, with kind of like name change squatting, and you don't want that, and you don't have to, because once you have a registration, you're protected, especially if it's distinctive, right? So if there's somebody doing something identical or close to you, then you can cease and desist on them once you have a certification from uspto.gov. Copyright protection is something that I love. I love helping my clients in regards to the literary agencies and dealing with other people. Once you're awesome and amazing, everybody wants a piece of you, whether it's music, whether it's dance, whether it's anything else with regards to publication. Always try to figure out some kind of way to take a derivative of you, right? And they will try to make the money from the derivative of you. But in order to bulletproof your brand, you have to always understand that that brand is yours and defending yourself. And the best way to defend is to file at copyright.gov, file at copyright.gov, your song, your music, your sound recording, copyright.gov. Always keep the publishing in place. I learned a long time ago in music, that every time music get played, someone is getting paid. Well, guess what? Your book, if you're not having something in place with regards to copyright.gov, somebody may hear you and it's not recording. So then they'd be like, oh, that's an idea. And they will snatch. Okay. But if you have a recordation and you're always talking about the book that you have already copyright, and then somebody try to control, alt, and delete on you, then guess what? You can bulletproof your brand by ceasing and desisting because you did a copyright.gov registration. Okay, with regards to it, it's always going to protect your originality and your creativity, right? And it also always has to be a recordation. It has to be in a tangible form. Why? Because ideas are not protected. All right, ideas are not protected. So when you also appreciate with the copyright.gov, you understand that, guess what? Creative work, dance, sound recording, music, blog posts, all of that stuff, you may not appreciate it, but maybe your children or your children's children would. You may not appreciate it, but you may touch somebody's life and they want to buy your brand, your information. You may not appreciate it, but you may end up going to a publishing house. Now, let me just tell you, you're working with a publishing house, they're going to want that full expression. They're going to want your copyright information for the full extent of the life. Not your life, but your life plus 70 years. So I need you to understand when people be like, oh my God, I went to the publishing house and they picked me up. And I'd be like, oh, child, you don't get a chance to own anything. They get the derivatives and they get the publishing. And the publishers, those are the ones can monetize from the derivatives, okay? The derivatives, if you pull out a name or something that is associated, those 360 deals in the music world, well, guess what? Publishing house did the same thing. So I need you to understand, respect that. Our ancestors may not have known because nobody was really letting them know that intellectual property is infinite profits that they can create one time and monetize for a lifetime. You hear those commercials, these songs that was a long, long time ago. Most of our ancestors did not understand fully that they should be owners, not just the creators, but the owners. Nick Cannon just realized the difference between the creator and the owner. Come on, somebody. Don't let that be you, okay? Don't let that be you. Whatever God let come out of you, then guess what? You better have an invoice for it, or you better have a licensing agreement for it. Do not devalue what is meant to be valuable to you, okay? Now, I get calls every once in a while from people. They're like, oh my God, I saw somebody, they put a post and they put my information. Well, guess what? If they're doing it for research or education or parody, even if they're criticizing you, which this guy was, that's not illegal. That's called fair use. Now, when people be like, got music in the background, they say, I don't own the rights to it. No, Yeah, you don't. But guess what? Someone can cease and desist on you. They can tell you to take down your video. It could have been an awesome, amazing video, but because of the fact that you put somebody else's copywritten information on your stuff, perpetrating. See, people to this recording, I don't own the rights to this poetry. I don't own the rights to this preaching gig. I don't own the rights. Could you imagine if somebody used "Woman, Thou Art Loose" just when it was coming out and they was taking derivatives of it, saying, I don't own the rights, but I'm going to teach this as though it's my own. I don't own the rights. Come on, somebody. I don't own the rights. Do not protect you. It's not a prophylactic. It will force somebody to say, oh, wait a minute, I'm not getting my money. See, remember what I said, one thing about intellectual property, you can create it one time and you can monetize it for a lifetime. So that fair use, if it's not criticizing, it's not news reporting, if it's not doing research, education, or parody, or if you're not a radio broadcast with a full license, then who cares if you don't own the rights? If you didn't create it, it's not yours. Now, the thing about it is, we understand in the world that we live in, and author coach speaking, that we need some level of information. So you either find a beat maker, you either help someone else, bless them by hiring their creativity so that you can use it for your professional or for your business, or you appreciate that there's royalty music that you pay for, and then you have the rights for it for certain things, because they got a license and agreement too, where they say you can use it for this but not that. Okay, so here's the thing: copycat cure. If you're the owner of a copyright, you can provide notice to a web hosting company that houses the infringing material. So if you are a singer, somebody's infringing, then you can go to who is, and find out who it is and send them a notice that says, hey, this is a violation of my copyright. I want you to cease and desist. I want you to take it down. They have a certain time period. They won't get in trouble if they take it down. If they tell you to go forget yourself and all that other stuff, then guess what? They can get in trouble and the violators can get in trouble. All right. So to protect your platform, to protect your brand, to protect your assets, I need you to understand that you do this. You formalize your business. You organize your business. I even like organizational charts. You organize your business, as we talked about. Then you cover your assets with contracts, right? You cover your assets. There's so many different contracts, right? Even with our legal box, we have like over 15 contracts. And then I was like, wow, we don't have 15 contracts, but there's so much more. Then you develop terms of use of your intellectual property, and privacy notices for your website, right? With regards to if you're amazing and you are like pretty much like a Canva queen, honey, then you go and you copyright your images, right? Now, with regards to Canva, you're copyrighting your images. I need you to understand there's a license. So you got to look at Canva's license. If you're not purchasing it, sometimes they allow people to purchase certain images, but for the most part, they just let you use it on social media. If you want to purchase something, then you go and see what the an extended license look like, right? If you're creating something, because I talk to a lot to creators and sometimes they're photographers, you can protect, I want to say over 600, 300, 600 photographs. But when you do that, you literally have to fill in an Excel spreadsheet that says who took it, what day you took it, all that stuff. So if you are a photographer on there, hey, I need you to understand that you're going to have to CEO yourself with regards to it, knowing that it's not just about creative and taking pictures, because people are like, oh, I want to protect all my pictures and photos. Okay, here's the spreadsheet, figured out. You know what I mean? It's like, and with regards to copyright, they also want to make sure that they have your name, address, and they have your social security number and also your date of birth, because so many people have so many similar names. So you got to protect yourself. Trademark your brand. Trademark your brand. Trademark your brand. And bulletproof your profits, right? And of course, you got to respect the rules. In all thine ways, respect the rules. Lastly, nobody wants to talk about estate planning and succession planning, but I need you to understand that matters. It matters. It's not just about, like, if you don't put it in place, if you don't document, if you don't identify who gets what with all of your creativity, it can end up being a mess, or it can be ignored. You can have books all over the world. But if nobody knows that they exist because it's in your brain or somewhere scattered around, then guess what? Your family will miss out on the benefit of being able to live off of your creativity. Thank you so much for joining me as I helped you understand this various steps that you need to take so that you can protect your platform. You know, this is your platform. It's your empire. It's your brand. You know, it's the very thing that you can use to defy your financial status quo so that you can make more dreams possible. And because it has the power to transcend from you to your children and your children's children, then I do believe that you need to take this time out to fully appreciate that you have what it takes to not only to formalize and to optimize and to legalize, but also to bulletproof your platforms by any legal means necessary. So if you need any help or you have any questions, feel free to contact me, Toni Moore of ToniMooreESQ.com. Bye for now.